I don't even know where to like start this video because it's been a long time since I last filmed and I actually look like trash. You know what? I'm not gonna say all of that today because it's like, well, do I want to be self-deprecating in a video in which I'm already kind of having a mental breakdown? Um, Not really, because when I'm gonna watch the video again and start editing this shit, do I want to look at that again? I don't think so. I don't think I want to go through that whole thing again, you know? And kind of in tune with that, I don't think I'm gonna be editing this video to be that weird and this smells really fucking fantastic, by the way. I just think I'm not gonna edit this video to be anything but jump cuts. Yeah. It's not like anyone's even gonna watch this video apart from maybe like the 20 people that do. I just thought that I was feeling really fucking down and really just not good about the situation that I'm in currently because of just things that are going on. And I thought, what better way to vent than to talk to a fucking camera? You know, a one-on-one therapy session with your one and only myself. Was that English? I don't know. Namaste. Welcome to my channel. I'm fucking exhausted, to tell you the truth. I was just feeling very, very down and I don't know, kind of helpless and kind of hopeless because I'm not able to find housing.
Wow.
And I know that might sound very stupid because it's a very temporary thing, but I'm getting kicked out of this house in 2 days. And I'm just like, I should have planned better. Well, I knew for a fact that I was gonna come back to Michigan because I had to do my master's. And so I said, you know what, okay, whatever. Why didn't I start looking for housing at that moment when I knew that, okay, I have to come back to Michigan? You know why? Because like all things in the world, I thought that I'll find it, you know? It's not that big of a deal. I'll be able to find housing when I get here. And you know how I rationalize that? I rationalize that by saying I can't start looking for housing yet because I need to be there in Michigan to start looking. How does that make any sense? I should have contacted people then and there and just been like, hey, I'm coming back on this date, so can you have the property ready for me to at least look at it? Maybe I'm being too hard on myself. I don't know. I don't like being uncertain in life. I don't like uncertainty. I don't enjoy not knowing what my future holds. I was telling my mom the other day about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and I think it's Maslow's hierarchy of personality and how he labels just having shelter and, you know, like basic needs met, such as clean water and stuff like that. So that's something that I don't have procured right now, and it's honestly terrifying because it's like, well, where am I going to be living? Am I going to be homeless? Am I going to be living on the fucking street? I don't know. And I know that there are a lot of people that have like much bigger worries than that, and much bigger worries than me just worrying about housing. And I know that I'm only supposed to be living here for like a year, but I feel like it's not just housing that's weighing on my mind. It's also the fact that I have to apply for PhD, that I have to complete my master's, that I have to get a good job, that I have to do something with my life, you know? I have to do something with my life. I have to prove myself to people. I have to prove myself to myself, you know? I it's a big responsibility and I feel like I'm not living up to it. And it's terrifying because I don't want to be not enough. I like makeup. It really helps. And the thing that kind of bothers me is that I don't want it to just, I don't want to be successful just for me, if that makes sense. Um, I, for me, money is not, for me, money is not to be earned for myself as such. It's not to be earned to go to a store to be able to buy like Prada and Louis Vuitton and Gucci and whatever. Like, yeah, that's nice. It's nice to be able to buy those brands and whatnot, and and have a certain status in life where you're not constantly worried about where your next meal is going to come from, whether or not you're going to be able to put food in your belly, or if you're going to, I don't know, if you're going to be able to pay for housing the next month or not. It's good to have money. I think it's important to have money for yourself, but it's for me, that's not the purpose of having money in my life. It's my parents and my brother have done so much for me. Like, anyone that's come in my life and has made any sort of impact has done so much for me. And I cannot express how grateful I am to them for doing that for me. For negative, positive, however, whatever sort of impact they've had. Because, like, even if they've had a negative impact in my life, it's because I let them have that sort of power over me, and I mean that in a good sense. I'm not very sure if I'm able to put it across in what I'm saying, but I mean in a good sense that I let them have that power over me because at one point they had such a positive impact on my life. You know? You know? In the long run, I, I'm I'm grateful for them to have entered my life and had the positive impact that they did in the first place. And I don't know, I think it's a very random thing to have just brought that up out of nowhere, but and I guess right now maybe I'm just trying to make myself feel better, but I'm still very thankful for all the people who came in my life and who have been in my life and who've had maybe a positive or a negative impact, or yeah, an impact on my life in general. So if you're watching this, thank you, I guess. Yeah, I got started on the topic of how I'm thankful for people who have entered my life, because I was talking about my family and my parents and my brother, and how they've done so much for me, and how money to me is not an individual factor. The reason money to me is not an individual factor is because whenever I think of earning anything, it's to be able to just tell my parents and my brother that the investment that they made in me, that the investment of the amount of money that they've made in me by schooling me, by educating me, by paying for my college, paid off. That I was able to make something out of my life, and I'm very happy to be able to make them proud. And it's not, to me, it's not something that I have to necessarily do because they've never asked me to do something like that. It's just, I can't shake the feeling of absolute gratefulness that I have. We don't come from a very affluent background, and by we, I just mean like my family. We don't come from a very affluent background, but my parents have done their absolute best to make sure that my brother and I have never felt that. And I think it's phenomenal what they've achieved in life, both of them thus far. I just want to be able to make them comfortable in life now, at least give them the amount of comfort that they've always been able to give my brother and I. And at the same time, my brother has just started earning like 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. And that guy is, he would do anything for the people that he loves. And like, he's the type of person who, when my parents didn't have the money to pay the tuition for my last semester, he hands down was just like, yeah, okay, whatever. The next day, I just open my account and I see that my tuition has already been paid. And my tuition is a lot, like, a lot. And like, that's the thing. I can't fuck it up now. I have to get into a good school. I have to make something out of my life, because it's more so the amount of belief that they have in me. You know, the amount of faith and the amount of trust that they have in my abilities, that they said, yeah, okay, you know, go ahead. Go live your life, and we're going to try to help you as far along the way as we can, as we possibly can. And I just want to be able to give back to them however I possibly can. And I need to have my head in the right place to be able to do that. You know what the tragedy about this is? I look the exact same as before, and I don't really feel any better. So I think all that's gonna help me right now is just finding housing. So hope and pray for me that I find housing anytime soon. Thank you for joining me during my mental breakdown. Bye.